Hey, what's going on, good people? Welcome to Russ Can Fly. Let's go! Okay, so before I go over to the airport and handle my business, because the brother's been handling his business. That's my word. But at any rate, yeah, I'm dating myself. Important handle my business. I want to get some subscriber shout outs. I really thank you guys for being so supportive during this crazy time with this crazy weather, new variants of COVID. I mean, it's just crazy. And yet still, good Lord sees fit to, allow me to continue on this journey with the support of all of you. And it really means a lot to me. So, subscriber shout outs to brother Bryson Cure. Brother Bryson, thanks for reaching out. Let me know I needed to give you a subscriber shout out. Thank you for joining me on this journey. I really appreciate it. So Bryson Cure, Bailey Lynn, Weapon X, and Danielle Duffy. So Bryson, Bailey, Weapon X, and Danielle, thank you for subscribing to the channel. It really means a lot to me. All right, time to go over and handle my business. It is almost time, y'all. Wings traffic, Cessna 901 Quebec Sierra, taxiing from the upper ramp from runway 24 wings. Yeah, this setup works so much better.
You like it?
Yeah, the knee pad here, that just...
It's a lot more freeing. I mean, if you... the only issue was people don't like you because it blocks instruments, but if it's not blocking the instruments, you're
not at all.
fine,
I got a straight shot to my heading indicator.
You got your tack, you got everything, so everything is good, right?
Yeah,
That's it.
Yeah.
And it's a lot easier and efficient to use.
Yeah. So I wanted to keep this little bit in there about my cockpit management because that's one of the keys as well. A lot of times I've been trying to figure out where to put my knee pad, where to put my iPad, that kind of thing. But I finally dialed it in. Cockpit management is key. So that's why I'm glad I'm finally where I want to be with all my equipment and with all of the stuff that I need, tools to make my flight good. Wings traffic, Cessna 901 Quebec Sierra, departing runway 24, right turn out to the north wing. All right, 24, 24, 24, we're good, heels to the floor, full power. Engine instruments in the green, oil temp, oil pressure, suction, all look good. Airspeed is alive. And rotate. Okay, so this training session is very important because, and I titled this video Almost Time because it is almost time. Yes, I have a Checkride date set. And unfortunately, I don't want to disclose it because I did before and I wasn't ready and this thing crashed and burned and all that kind of stuff. This time, I want to basically just let the Checkride happen and then share the good news with all of you guys after I pass. But at any rate, yes, so it's almost time. And so this flight lesson was very important. So I'm going to try to include a lot of different maneuvers so you can see just how ready I am, or at least how ready I think I am. All right, so let's go to work. Let's do it. Wings traffic, Cessna 901 Quebec Sierra, right turn out to the north, last call wings.
Alright, let's try some steep turns.
Okay. Alright, so let me clear the area here. The one question I did have is,
yes, sir.
If, so I know you can do turns to the left, turns to the right. Can you do a clearing 360, or is it just advisable to do?
The standard way, I guess, is where the way I've heard it's 90, but it's not completely. You just gotta clear the area.
Okay. All right.
That's all it is.
Yeah.
Over there.
Come back over to the right. The one thing I find interesting too in this airplane, I noticed yesterday, is you go to the left, you don't have to add as much power, but when you go to the right, you have to add some power.
Really?
Yeah, it's just one of those things. Okay.
We're probably too close to that to do it.
Yeah.
With that.
So I'm gonna just use north.
Yeah, like the reservoir over there, you see it? Kind of the water.
Yeah.
You can kind of use that as well if you want.
Alright, let's slow her down. Get configured. Extra full ridge trim set for takeoff.
Yeah, trim doesn't need to be set for takeoff.
Okay, just doing that as remembering. Alright. So I usually do a little turn on the trim just to help me. And we're gonna go to the right.
Yes, sir.
Get to that bank angle quickly. And of course, this is my favorite maneuver. Steep bank turns to the right. I actually do pretty good. As you can see, the distance between the top of the cowling and the horizon stays pretty much consistent. You can definitely see that the spaces kind of change, but I keep it within 100 feet of my altitude. So this would be a good turn to the right. Not bad, Russ, not bad. And to the right. Downwind. Going to the right. I usually never have an issue. As you can see, I can keep that cowling. So basically the spinner of the propeller is like this little pointy thing. I usually keep that right on the horizon. So I can keep myself, my eyes outside the plane, and I can usually just kind of dial that in. The only difficulty I had is a little bit more hazy from those wildfires, and that video's up there, just in case you missed it. But I kind of lost sight of the horizon a couple times. But again, not bad. It passes. It passes!
A little bit of an overshoot, right?
Yeah.
And I feel like it was good. That was good.
Yeah.
A little bit of overshoot, but I also feel like you're not doing much with the rudders.
Okay.
Especially to the right there. But let's try. That was good. The overshoot might not have been a big deal, but let's try one more.
Okay.
That's why I use the reservoir, right?
Yeah, I'm going to use that. Do another set, and I'm not going to show those just for time, and I want to get to some other things, but yeah, I definitely did a little bit more rudder usage, and that worked out a lot better. All right, but let's get to some other stuff. Even with the, my rudder game wasn't where it needed to be, the turn was still within the ACS standard, so booyah!
There's a fire in the cabin. What are you going to do?
Oh, fire in the cabin, so get the...
well, there's some sort of fire, right?
Okay.
You need to get down fast. What are you going to do?
Yeah, so I'm going to pull the power.
RP on as well.
Carb heat.
And pitch down for what?
For 100.
120.
Or 120.
Right below the yellow. What is this? This is called, what is this called? Do you remember?
I can't remember.
It's emergency descent.
Emergency descent.
Right? Looking for a place to land and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Wings traffic Archer.
Let's go down to, we're covering 2000.
Okay.
You could do like turns to try and find the plot spot to land and also help you descend a little faster.
Okay.
Alright. We can level off here.
Alright. Hadn't done that for a while, caught me off guard, but I got it. 120 knots, pointed down towards the ground, get on the ground. Pull the carb heat, pull the engine, get on the ground.
Alright, so let's do turns around a point somewhere.
So this isn't a maneuver that I've shown many times, but it's definitely an important one. Turns around a point. So basically a point on the ground, and you do a 360 around it. And first I gotta find my point, and that's what I'm gonna be looking for first.
Crosswind 30.
So I want to enter onto the downwind. So what I was going to use is that little lake or whatever that is. Oh no, there's our tower. Go over to our tower. Okay, so I found my point. Now I got to enter on the downwind. I have to be plus or minus 100 feet and no more than 10 plus or 10 knots on my airspeed. That's the ACS. I want to enter in on the downwind. So I'm gonna give myself some space. I'm gonna come this way.
Somerset traffic, Cherokee 578, left downwind 30, Somerset.
How'd you figure that out?
Looking at my heading indicator. And looking at the stacks, it really isn't doing much there.
Yeah.
But I knew that this is the way we took off.
Yep.
I was looking at the smoke, so I figured I want to be on the opposite side.
I love it.
Left downwind for one-way through 4 wings.
are the other kind of things that you want involved with this? What speed do you want to be at?
So I want to be at about 95.
Yeah, 90 to 100 is
90 to 100. And want to keep my altitude, of course.
Okay. What altitude? Does it matter?
So it does matter. So we're going to do 2,000.
Entering left.
What does it stand? What does the ACS say?
1,500. So it's 500.
It says, forget the lower. It's either 600 or 700 AGL
yeah.
to 1,000 AGL. So, do you think 2,000 is too high?
Probably. So we'll go down to 15.
Millville traffic.
600 to 1,000. That's right.
1,000 is the max, right?
So you can see I was a little fuzzy with the ACS standard. So it's actually 600 to 1,000 AGL for the height above the ground for this maneuver. You have to enter in on the downwind, which means you have to be flying basically with the wind as you basically enter into a perpendicular. So your wing is going to be basically lined up with whatever you're turning around. But you're flying with the wind. Wing basically lines up, and then you begin to turn. And you have to keep your speed, your altitude, and and your circumference around the point. All right. So it's a very tricky maneuver, and it's easy to fail if you don't keep in mind the different standards.
Wind traffic, Archer entering.
So what altitude you got?
1,500. And I think that altitude of 1,500 may be too high, but as you can see out the window here, that's my turning point. See that tower right out there out the front? As I fly up closer, you'll be able to see it out on the left-hand side as well through the window. But that's what I'm lining up with. So I'm flying downwind towards the tower. There it is out of the left-hand side window. And so basically what I'm going to do is line my wing up with that tower and do a 360 around it. Come on, dude.
Slow and slow. It's the same power setting as the pattern, right?
Yeah.
2,000 to 2,100.
Okay, so I'm struggling a little bit with my speed and altitude. It's not staying consistent. But one of the things you want to watch as I do a 360 is that tower should stay pretty much in the same place on the dashboard. So if I keep it there as I'm doing a 360 and I keep the same distance, then I've done a good job. But I am struggling with the altitude and speed a little bit. What are you doing? Come on.
Remember, you have 600 to 1,000. 1,000 is the max, right? So
Wind
you
traffic,
don't have to be
clear, 1.24.
I mean, this elevation here is probably not even 500 feet, right? It's probably like, honestly, closer to 300, 400 feet.
But I want to fly the Manish way.
Well, so 1,400 is perfectly fine if you just keep that, right?
Okay.
That's what I'm trying to get at.
Okay, I got you.
Uniform Papa, departing to the south, just landing at 2,000 feet.
But it is plus or minus 100 once you decide what altitude you're at.
I got you. Okay, so let's watch and see how I do. So now the tower is where it needs to be, so I'm doing pretty good. Now, what happens is once you get what they call crosswind, or the wind is hitting the right side of the airplane, or where Manish is sitting, that's when it gets interesting, because it begins to push me towards the tower. And see how it's now on the wing strut as opposed to the dashboard? That's because now the turn is becoming tighter because I am being pushed by the wind. So I had to bank a little bit more in order to keep that wing where it needs to be. Now, see, I banked a little bit. Now I'm back where I need to be, and I'm going back into the downwind. But then you have to shallow it out so that you can get to where you need to be.
Do one more lap.
Okay. So we did another circuit around the tower, and just trying to get a feel for turn around the point. You got a little bit of wiggle room in terms of you know, your altitude and speed, but you definitely want to try to keep that tower right where it is now. That would be a good spot to keep it throughout the circumference of the turn. And, you know, definitely have to be mindful of the fact that the winds are different. The winds are going to operate on the plane differently versus downwind, or if there's a tailwind, if I'm flying upwind or there's a headwind. And definitely both crosswind components, when the plane either hits the right side or the left side of the plane, that is something that I have to be mindful of as I, you know, fly this circumference. So, but I will say that in the scheme of things, it wasn't too bad. But I just have to be mindful of making sure I, you know, enter this maneuver on the downwind, that I am 600 to no more than 1,000 AGL. If I do those two things, then, you know, I got some wiggle room. So, not too bad.
That's sir, we'll be looking for you.
Boss Ranger, what are you gonna do?
All right, so let's
break traffic. You have a Cherokee about 3 miles to the south, about landing 36 bridge. Any traffic? All right, so little traffic, west dock, Boyd Echo, left base, runway 28 Nova.
I am going to, well, let me see. Yeah, so I'm going to land in that field right over there. I'm actually on a downwind leg to it. I'm going to be turning base. So as I'm doing that, I'm going to got my carb heat doing my mixture.
There's traffic service departing, and we have downwind traffic in sight.
Trying to fuel tanks on both, trying to mags.
Left downwind 26 Penridge.
And then nothing's working there, so clocking 7,700, 121.5 on the radio. Mayday, 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 901 Quebec Sierra.
Wait, think you would make that? That's a tight spot, right? Don't you think?
Yeah.
Right here in front of you.
Somerset traffic, on final.
Yeah.
Right?
Pleasant traffic,
Okay. Air controls.
7 approach, we'll be breaking off the approach, sir.
Really good.
So a little bit better than last time. I actually was able to catch it. My CFI was telling me that he would have definitely chosen a different field, but he was definitely happy. The thing that was really crazy about this engine out is, remember, we had just done turns around a point, so I was only 1,500 feet above the ground, so there wasn't a whole lot of time to decide what to do before it was time to put that plane on the ground. And so, you know, he was happy that I was able to get through those things pretty quickly, because, you know, basically within minutes, it was time to land. And so I felt really good about that engine out. And as you can hear, I went through all of the process. It was pretty quick. I picked the, you know, place to land pretty quick, and definitely different from the last video where it took me forever to find a landing place, and I didn't go through any of the other things like putting in emergency codes or calling Mayday or anything like that. So definitely a lot better. All right, let's get back to wings. Like I said, man, it's almost time. I can feel it. I can feel it. All right, let's land this puppy. Rear beam, we already got the car heat.
2635 Quebec is on the downwind for 29 Robertsville.
All right, engine's out. Uh-oh, engine out again. He pulled it again. Goodness. So, doing my mixture. Don't have a lot of time, but still trying to see if I can get this engine started. Fuel tanks, carb heat is already on. Mags. And no dice. Didn't, Wings traffic, Cessna 91 Quebec Sierra, turning left base for runway 24 wings. Alright, what's my speed? Where am I? I'm in the, I gotta go back to the right arc so I can do a notch of flaps. Get that nose down.
Skyhawk turning base, runway 25, clear south.
Brownsville traffic 2635 Quebec is turning right base 29 Roberts Falls.
Squawking 7700, 121.5. Mayday, mayday, mayday. Emergency landing, Wingsfield, engine out. 91 Quebec Sierra. Now I'm already on Wingsfield frequency, so I could have just left it there and just did my mayday to the field to let them know that my engine's out and that I'm landing.
Brownsville traffic 2635 Quebec is turning final 29
I'm gonna leave that right there for now. Right, I'm gonna do a second notch of flaps. Hold her off. Hold her off. Add a little bit more speed.
Good, not bad. There we go. Okay, we made it. Some of those, you were like pitching down a lot on base, kind of scared me a little bit.
Okay.
But it worked out perfectly. So it's a whatever, it worked out fine. All right. One thing I'll say is that, you said I love the 7700. 121.5, I would maybe not do because you're already on CTAF, right?
Okay.
What are they going to do about it? Just let the Wings traffic know that you're have your engine out, and that you're like mayday, mayday. Cessna 9 Quebec Sierra is on base with their engine out.
Gotcha. Departing 24 to the north, Wings traffic.
Or if you're on with the tower frequency.
Gotcha. Okay, so you're already,
you're already talking to someone. And that's the case for anything. Right?
Okay.
Let's say you're already getting flight following or something like that.
Okay.
You can call.
Okay. So I'm not going to belabor this. All I can tell you is it's almost time. Stay tuned. I think the magic is about to happen. Ah! But I'm telling you, I feel good. I think I'm ready. Yes, a date has been set, but I am not disclosing the date this time because I'm just going to wait for it to actually go down. But I can tell you, based on what's been happening in my training thus far, I definitely feel ready. I'm ready to make this happen. And again, I thank all of you for being such a humongous part of this journey. So pray for me that the weather holds, that all the airplane mechanical issues are fine, that I stay clothed in my right mind, as my grandmother would say, because it's time. It is time. So that's all I'm gonna say. I'm gonna close out this video by again thanking you all for your prayers, for your support, all that good stuff. All right, enough. Russ Kid, Russ can fly. Date has been set. Coming soon. I'll see you on the other side. Peace.